Okay, hi guys. I've got a very quick video this time, and the reason being is it's my review of 2017. And the reason why it's going to be relatively short is I realized if I go into depth about any of my choices, we're going to be here for hours. So it's either do in depth or I'm just going to give you this download of information because I know at Christmas and New Year, a lot of people are on holidays and they finally get a chance to revisit some of the stuff they missed. And so I'm hoping that you'll get that opportunity as well. So I'm just going to quickly talk about TV, books, and movies. And to give you a bit of context, I read 12 books this year, which is a little bit low for me. Normally I'm in about the 20s. But I watched way more TV, and also I played a lot of computer games. I finished completely all the storyline in a game called Secret World Legends. So was able to, scratch that itch, which I don't always get to do with gaming. So with movies, I saw 96 films this year, and I can just see that my cat just jumped up to attack my Christmas tree in the background. So it's all happening here. So let's move on and quickly tell you about some of the stuff you might have missed and what you should get back to. So TV, quickly. There was a million really interesting shows, and it all depends on whether you've got an appetite for comedy, sci-fi, etc. Probably the best 3 episodes that I saw in a row, if you took them just as a storyline in itself, was The Handmaid's Tale. I was furious after every episode was how much it triggered me, and just generally great, and Elizabeth Moss great. The Good Place, really fun comedy. Rick and Morty, if you haven't found that, is just probably the most challenging, intelligent show on TV, and it's an animated teenage kind of comedy. Then Mindhunters on Netflix I thought was outstanding, and if it's going where I think it's going, it really could be groundbreaking drama. Then Stranger Things 2, it's probably the show I enjoyed the most, and probably anyone watching this probably already knows about it. And finally, just checking my list, number 1, Twin Peaks. Now, this was a bit strange because for a lot of people, they gave up after episode 3 and 4, which were incredibly challenging. And I know I was going, what the hell is Lynch doing? And then slowly over the whole run, he brought the threads together, he ratcheted it up, and episode 8 could go down in the history of TV. I mean, this is real. When people say, oh, is TV an art form? Show them episode 8 within the context of that show. The other thing I want to do, Kyle MacLachlan plays 3 roles. He plays, obviously, Dale Cooper as the FBI agent. He plays Evil Coop, and he plays Dougie Jones. And Dougie Jones really wore on me, but by the end of it, you kind of can see the role he was playing. But the way Kyle MacLachlan swapped between all 3 roles, brilliant, and probably the best acting of the year. Now, on to books. And as I said, I read a few books, and nothing really blew me away except for 1 book. And I've already reviewed it, so I'm not going to talk about it too much, but it's Colson Whitehead's The Underground Railroad. And if you're interested in that, go back and you'll see that I've got a video just totally on this book. And it is, when you consider where America is right now, it looks at racial politics, but it does this weird mechanism which should not work at all, where it makes the Underground Railroad, which was a real thing, but where they transported people through a series of stations, but they're really just people, moving people from the south to the north. They make it a real railroad. And, if a 14-year-old said, oh, I'm going to write a creative story, and this is what I'd go, that is not going to work, and Whitehead makes it work. And finally, let's look at movies. As I said, I saw 96 movies last year, and I really had, for a year which people are saying because the box office is really down, I thought it was an outstanding year. My list of interesting films ran to about 10. Normally I might have 2 or 3. So I will say there is one asterisk on this, which is in Australia, we don't get, in America, they release a lot of their most interesting films in December. So they're shown in the cinema to be eligible for the Academy Awards. But in Australia, we don't get them then till January or February. And in fact, all the films people are talking about right now, I haven't seen yet, and they're all just starting to dribble out in Australia. So often my best film will be the film that people consider is from an earlier year. And the example this time is one of my top films was La La Land. I loved it. I really enjoyed Moonlight. So when Moonlight won in the whole fiasco, I wasn't disappointed. But La La Land did something which I thought was almost impossible, which was to create a new musical set in LA and yet with interesting characters, great actors. It was fantastic. The other big film that I want to talk about was Dunkirk. And the reason I'm talking about Dunkirk, because there's a lot of films I loved this year, and if you went back through all my videos, you'd see that. But Dunkirk was really a relic back to the days of Lawrence of Arabia, where you had to see it on the big screen, and it just did things which I hadn't seen before, especially the aerial combat was the best I probably have ever seen. Now, I'm not a war film guy, so someone might be able to come back with scenes from Battle of Britain or something, but I thought it was just outstanding. And the other film I really enjoyed, not just enjoyed, because there's a million films I enjoyed, but if I'm talking about them today, it's because I think people will be talking about them in years from now, and that was The Last Jedi. And I just did a film review on it, so I'm not going to go through all that, but I just think that was showing how you could revitalize something which could easily go stale. But by far the best film that I saw, and there was a big gap between this film and all the other films, was Get Out. And it really did not get a big viewership in Australia, which I understand because it was classified as horror. It obviously had something to do with race, which was in a very American context. But this film took all the tropes of horror and comedy and racial politics and threw them all on their head in such an entertaining and yet thoughtful way. I mean, that is like a 9.9 difficulty, and somehow they were able to do it. So Get Out, my film of 2017. Please go and see some of these films. Got Netflix and Stan and everything. There's no excuse not to see these great films. If you can go see them in the cinema, that is by far the best way to do it. But really, there's just so much outstanding stuff at the moment. It's too much. Too much is the problem. So look, that's it. I want you to just watch this quickly and go catch up. Whatever is your thing, go catch it up. If you like what you're seeing, please subscribe, hit the bell so you always know when I've got new stuff. And I should be doing a lot of film reviews because I'm hoping to catch up with all the films nominated for the Academy Awards. And I'm on Twitter at Guru Eden. So I'll see you soon. Bye.